United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome everyone to the January 20th Eastchester Union Free School District Board of Education meeting. It's nice to see so many people in the audience here this evening. So tonight's meeting is actually a work session, and I know I speak for the entire board when I say we're all very excited to hear this collaborative effort around education and technology. It's nice to see so many of our administrators here in the audience as well. Does anyone have any board reports this evening or anything that they would like to share before I turn it over to Dr. V? Lori, do you want to share the Greenberg Nature Center field trip today? We're glad that you made it out of the frozen tundra and the pine cones made it home in one piece. I think Mrs. Sinisi and Mrs. Cappiello will be joining next time as well. Right? Great. Dr. V, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us. We have a big audience tonight, and rightfully so, because we have two very special presentations for us. So I believe the first one is our Eastchester Middle School, who will be showcasing a little something from their Newsies production, which is going to be happening this weekend. I have a little blurb here. The teachers, families, and students who put their time and dedication into this production are so incredibly proud to work with the students of both Eastchester Middle School and Eastchester High School. The Eastchester Middle School High School theater program, I mean, certainly as I've been here for the short time I've been, has really thrived in its mentorship program. EHS students often help assist the younger students with just set design and all of the tech crew stuff. And so really, I can't wait to see this weekend's performance. So there they are. I see a couple of folks, and I'll turn it over to you if you want to kick us off with a few words.
Sure. My name is Madeline Rendy. I'm one of the co-directors and co-advisors for the Eastchester Middle School Players Club. This year's production is Newsies Junior, which features roughly 83 students right now in both middle and high school. We actually have 3 members in our pit as well, in addition to our tech crew, some set builders, and a lot of great students that are involved. This is our lovely 7th grader, Sophia Vakraneva, who is one of our leads. She portrays Catherine, who is the editor of one of the newspapers, and today she is going to be singing a quick, well actually no, the whole song you're singing, from her featured solo, which she's writing viciously about how to get the Newsies to be brought to light and how that she can help their story be spread. So here's Sophia.
This way. Okay. Come on, Catherine. Those kids are counting on you. Oh, you poor kids. Write what you know, so they say. All I know is I don't know what to write or the right way to write it. This is big, lady. Don't screw it up. This is not some little vaudeville I'm reviewing. Poor little kids versus rich, greedy, sourpusses. Ha! It's a cinch. It could practically write itself, and let's pray it does. 'Cause as I may have mentioned, I have no clue what I'm doing. Am I insane? This is what I've been waiting for. Well, that plus the screaming of 10 angry editors. A girl, it's a girl. How the heck is that even legal? Look, just go and get her. Not only that, there's a story behind the story. Thousands of children exploited, invisible. Speak up, take a stand, and there's someone to write about it. That's how things get better. Give life's little guy some ink, and when it dries, just watch what happens. Those kids will live and breathe right on the page, and once they're center stage, you watch what happens. And who's there with her camera and her pen? As boys turn into men, they'll storm the gates, and then just watch what happens when they do. A modern-day David is poised to take on the rich and powerful Goliath. With the swagger of one twice his age, armed with nothing more than a few nuggets of truth, Jack Kelly stands ready to face the behemoth Pulitzer. Now that's how you turn a kid into a legend. Give those kids and me the brand new century and watch what happens. It's David and Goliath, do or die, the fight is on, and I can't watch what happens. But all I know is nothing happens if you just give in. It can't be any worse than how it's been. And it just so happens that we just might win. So whatever happens, let's begin.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you to the board for letting us be here performing for you and for supporting us. Our show dates are obviously this weekend, Friday and Saturday. One show on Friday at 7 p.m. and 2 shows on Saturday at 12 and 7. Tickets can be purchased at eastchester.booktix.com. You don't want to miss it. These kids have been working really hard since September, so it would really mean a lot if you guys can show up for them. Thank you again. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much. And we're going to stay along the same lines as how important the arts is for our district, because the next group that we would like to recognize tonight is Jazzco. And I've heard so much about Jazzco, and I've seen them actually in the Eastchester High School cafeteria working with some very exciting guest masterclass coaches. But I believe the way Jazzco works is 4th to 8th graders from Greenville and Hutch and EMS sign up, and they spend 2 special Saturday afternoons with our EHS dancers and professional choreographers. They also have a number of rehearsals throughout the year, and they prepare for an upcoming performance, which very soon is upon us on February 8th. And tonight, they are actually here to perform for us. So please do join us from Jazzco, and if we have somebody who would like to say a few words before you begin, that would be great. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Claire Connolly. I'm actually an alumni of Eastchester High School, and I was in Jazzco way back when. I've been with Jazzco for 13 years, and I took over as director last year. So we have the seniors here that are going to dance part of their senior number, and our junior officers are just going to give a little background for you.
Hi, my name is Diego, and I'm a junior in Eastchester High School.
Hi, my name is Gabriella, and I'm also a junior in Eastchester High School.
And we're here to represent our school's dance club known as Jazzco. Our club brings together students who share a passion for movement, creativity, and teamwork. Throughout the year, we work hard to create a full-length dance show that features a variety of styles, including hip-hop, jazz, Latin, African, contemporary, tap, and more.
Our performance showcased not only our love for dance, but also dedication, discipline, and collaboration it takes to put on a large production. We're excited to invite the community to our upcoming show on February 6th, February 7th at 7 p.m. and February 8th at 1 p.m. Additionally, on Sunday's performance, it will be the second year where Discovering Dance, a program with students ranging from 4th to 8th grade, will perform. Discovering Dance demonstrates the arts of dance to the youth, further spreading Jazzco.
Thank you for your continued support of the arts and for giving us the opportunity to share our passion with our school and community. The seniors will now be performing their senior dance, Home.
You might want to move in front of the table so you have more room. Or just spread out, however. So this is just a piece of the senior piece. So myself and Melissa Cray, who is also an Eastchester alumni, we choreographed the senior piece, and the senior number is usually like 6 to 7 minutes long because it's like their last time on stage. So we're just giving you like 45-second preview. So hopefully you come and see us. little sneak preview, and hopefully you guys come see it on stage in February. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think this is a wonderful showcase, just little excerpts from performances that are coming up to just show how Eastchester as a school district offers so much more than just academics and athletics. I mean, the arts, there's so much research on how much that affects the development of the brain and just a holistic experience of just enjoying life, enjoying art, enjoying everything that's out there. So thank you to all of our teachers and to our families and students who pour their hearts into this, because arts definitely makes life a better thing. Okay, and our third recognition tonight, and I see families, I see friends, family members and friends sitting in the audience for somebody very special. And this was for something called Heart of a Giant, and our very own Joseph Kalari was nominated for the Heart of the Giant Award. This award is given out by USA Football in tandem with the New York Giants. Very exciting. And the USA Football Heart of a Giant Award is typically presented by the Hospital for Special Surgery and the New York Giants. Recognizes high school students from New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut who demonstrate an unparalleled work ethic and passion for the game of football. And I see our athletic director and our principal of EHS sitting here as well. The award showcases the Tri-State High School tackle and flag football athletes, student managers, student mascots, or other designated student team members who demonstrate that extra something special in the classroom, out in the community, or even on the field. The Heart of a Giant program is dedicated to advancing equity within the sport of football by recognizing the passion of students inclusive of all ability levels, and they essentially have a chance to win a fairly large equipment grant. Joseph Kalari, who has faced his very own personal adversity, has risen to the top, and he was our Eastchester ambassador. And so I believe do we have Coach DiCarlo here as well this evening? Yeah. Okay, great. And Mr. Ramponi, please come on up to say a few words.
I don't have much to say, so we'll give the mic to Coach Fred DiCarlo. Coach?
Thank you for having me. This is a two-part award, actually. Joe was selected Heart of the Giant for the New York Giants. I nominated him in the summer. He was put up against 5 other nominees in the tri-state area, and due to the community involvement, he was selected as a finalist. We got a $1,000 grant for the school. With that $1,000, we bought football bags. Since we are not on campus and we're practicing on handle all the time, we're going to next year give each player a football bag so they can put their equipment in, and they'll have their phones in there so when it rains, everything's not getting wet. But the second award that he got, I also put up Joe for our Westchester Coaches Association 12th Man Award. And that is voted upon the coaches in the association from our football association. And just to give a kind of background on what I said about Joe, I just wanted to read his, what I wrote for him as an application. Joe is our manager this year and was probably to be the most dedicated player, not just manager, and on our team. Joe never missed an off-season workout, even though he would not be playing it down. He was at every off-season weight room session, usually the first one there and the last one to leave. He was our snapper on all 7-on-7 events that we attended. He was at every practice and would do all our conditioning with the team. If Joe was late for whatever reason, I constantly got a Sports U message and an apology. That's to say more than any other player that I did have. His parents were so happy that Joe was part of something and so appreciative, but they did not realize how much inspiration Joe gave to us. Joe was so dedicated to the team, but was clearly rubbing off on our players. He just loved being around the team, and the boys loved him back. He was included in all events and was looked after by all his teammates. When someone who is not playing 1 minute of football is there giving all his effort and support to help the program the best way he can, this naturally rubs off to the other players on the team. Joe's characteristics got us to the point where we were all in together, from our best player to the player who did not get in that much. Even though Joe's parents were so grateful to our program and what we did for him and his family, we were the lucky ones that got to see what real loyalty and commitment was. It had been an honor to get to know Joe and his parents, and I'm so thankful that he was part of our program this year. He was a huge part of our success. So this is the award that Joe actually could not receive because he was being honored by the New York Giants and was at the game the day that the award was given out. So we wanted to present
Joe's a
it to him.
popular guy.
So Joe, come on up.
Come on up, Joe.
Thank you.
All right, and that's it for student recognitions this evening. Okay, so we're going to keep moving into our workshop agenda here, and 4.2 and 4.3 are actually going to segue into one another, and they're a presentation from a number of faculty members from our district. So I will invite Mr. Jacoby up to the podium, and Mr. Welsh, and I believe some members of the high school team in just a moment. All right. So not too long ago, our committee members for our Education and Curriculum Technology Committee came together and heard a presentation from Mr. Jacoby and Dr. Meyer. Dr. Meyer's not able to make it this evening. He's not feeling well. But I'm going to take his place as best as I possibly can, and then if we have additional questions for him specifically, we can certainly ask him to present at the next meeting. But we're very excited to talk a little bit about the good work that's been happening in curriculum and also in technology. So I'll throw it over to Mr. Jacoby for just a moment.
Yeah, we're very excited to present to you tonight. Thanks for the invite from the board after our presentation to you at our subcommittee meeting. We wanted to highlight some of the curriculum and instruction improvements and hot topics, and also technology, and as you know, they're almost one and the same at this point in how much they relate to each other. So we'll start with our CNI, and I think Dr. B is going to kick us off.
You got it. So this is our vision that we had adopted as a trial basis at the start of the year. 4 campuses, 4 pillars, 1 vision, Elevate Eastchester. And everything in terms of curriculum and instruction and technology, we've been really trying to hone in by looking through these 4 lenses. The lens about the experience of what our students experience, what our faculty experiences, about space and how we reimagine how the learning environment is. Is it just the classroom? Is it beyond the walls of a classroom? Is it outside, inside? Also our wellness lens, which really talks about not only mental health and wellness, but also partnerships we have with other vendors and organizations outside of the school district to offer more than just academics. And then that segues nicely into community, where we talk about how our students and our programs and activities that we offer give students an opportunity to become civic-minded and productive citizens that give back to their communities. So this vision is really what has been driving a lot of the work in curriculum. If I could go to the next slide there. We had a lot of discussion around accelerated learning at the start of the year, which was then remonikered as Destination Imagination, which is actually a framework that really pushes innovative thought and just problem solving and collaborative work that leads to a showcase of student work and essentially problem solving in a competition. And so Destination Imagination is in its pilot year this year, and I'd like to invite up Ms. Libby here to talk a little bit about what they are going to be embarking on, or I think they've just started the program here. Okay.
Great. Hi everyone, I'm Libby Constan. I'm a second grade teacher at Ann Hutch, and I'm also the team manager for our Destination Imagination team at Ann Hutch. And I think I'm really excited to be able to talk a little bit about what DI is and what we're doing at Ann Hutch. So essentially what DI is it's an enrichment program where students are challenged to think creatively and collaboratively and really deepen their problem-solving skills as they work on a solution to a challenge. So DI will give out different STEAM and humanities-based challenges, and we'll work over the course of a few months to come up with our solution and present it in the form of a short skit. So what my students are working on right now is the Fine Arts Challenge, which is called Becoming Super. And we're coming up with an origin story for a superhero, a supervillain, and talking about how one event or one decision can set two different people on very different paths. So we're coming up with how we want to present our skit, doing prosthetics and stage makeup and different technical props, costumes, different elements that we can incorporate to really show off our team's individual skills and how we work together. It's really been exciting. We've had our first few meetings. The students have been brainstorming. It's amazing to see how they rise to the challenge when given the opportunity. They're showing such creativity and innovation already. I'm really excited to see where it goes when we present on March 7th. And I think the best part about it so far is seeing their excitement, the family's excitement. I'm really thrilled to be able to give them this opportunity, and I'm excited to see how it can spread throughout Eastchester in the next few years. So thank you all so much.
Wonderful, thank you. And we are also piloting this in Greenville as well, but our team manager wasn't able to be here this evening. What is very exciting about the Destination Imagination program as we're piloting it this year, although it's a very small group that's doing it, is the hope is to expand it to all of our students, and we're going to rename it as Destination Eastchester next year. We'll be able to hone in on the win period, have a little bit more time to be able to get ready for that competition. But you can already hear, interesting to hear about prosthetics and a skit of some sort. But there's a very interdisciplinary approach to solving these challenges. And then that showcase piece is the really exciting part of it. So thank you very much for taking on that challenge this year. A couple of next steps as well for our K-12 experience in terms of just expanding our learning opportunities is this summer we are expanding professional learning opportunities for our faculty through a summer institute. And we will be bringing teachers in to do workshops in restorative practices, or whether it is artificial intelligence, or even talking about high quality instruction over the summer, learning about the Destination Imagination framework so that we are preparing for the kickoff of next year. So we're really going to harness in on the summer months to really up our professional development. And then mention Destination Eastchester for next year. Okay, now I'm going to go into the high school experience, but I'm going to invite Mr. Welsh up to the podium, and he'll talk a little bit around the Portrait of a Graduate and the SEALs, and where we are going in terms of APs.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. If I go longer, it's just because I'm really excited about the very amazing amount of new and exciting things happening at Eastchester. So I think at a future meeting, we're going to get more into the idea of capstones and pathways. But just to give you a sense, we're already well positioned in this work as the state rolls out their Portrait of a Graduate. We already have capstone experiences in science research. We've added an AP seminar course. We're adding AP research for humanities. We're pursuing the SEALs of biliteracy in world language and civic readiness, also in the humanities. Our science research program is doing amazing things. We have a data structures course in computer science that is above an AP level. It's a course that we added this year that is typically not offered at the high school level. It is a college level course. We're blessed to have a fantastic instructor, Manny Suriel, who is able to teach that course. But again, it's those pathways, and pathways is a word that, you know, we grapple with a little bit because pathways can sometimes become limiting in a way that we don't want them to be. But the idea of a capstone, a culminating experience based on your area of interest, is really what we're pursuing, and we already are well leveraged in that area as we move forward in the Portrait of a Graduate. In terms of the AP School Honor Roll recognition, we were awarded, I believe, a silver designation this year, which was up from the previous level. I think we had a bronze beforehand. It's all about access, expansion. You know, we're shooting for platinum next year, but we've added AP courses in macroeconomics, the aforementioned research. We'll be adding courses in AP business principles. So it's what we're offering, but also we have more students taking those courses. We've broke down some of those gates that were keeping kids out, and we're really honored for the recognition and proud of the work of our teachers and students in that area. Next, in terms of the schedule, at this point, I don't think we could have asked for any better of a rollout. Really, in my mind, it's been a tremendous success. Student feedback has been overwhelmingly positive about the schedule. That's across grade levels. So for those students who are experiencing high school for the first time, all the way up through senior year, they're enjoying the schedule. From an instructional standpoint, it's functioning as we had hoped, supporting both teaching and learning. Certainly one of the most significant shifts is the longer class periods, but going to 49 or 50 minutes instead of a jump all the way to an 80-minute block, I think students have really appreciated that. They've commented that the learning is deeper, the experiences are richer. Again, in a future meeting, I'll be excited to talk about work we've done with our consultant IDE on active student learning, but that's probably a little too much for tonight. Lunch was an area that was a little bit of a concern going into the year, moving from 40 minutes to 36-minute lunch periods. And then there was an added layer of complexity with the shift to a universal free lunch program. So last year we were serving about 500 meals a day. This year we're serving 1,100 meals a day, so more than double the amount of meals are being served. So it took a little time. We made some structural adjustments to the line. We have a system where students can pre-order sandwiches that are made to order that day or an hour beforehand. We designated a space in the study center for grab and go. It's a kiosk with an additional register there, and I feel like we're in a really good place in terms of lunch. It took a little time, but as with anything that's worth it, it will take time. Office hours is the other piece that I'd like to highlight here. The feedback around office hours from students, from staff, has been overwhelmingly positive. The opportunity to get remediation or support, ask a question before a test, quite frankly, kids are looking for more of it. But just to give you a data point, this past Wednesday, our most recent office hours, 44% of students in this building made an appointment, and 53% of 9th graders and 66% of 10th graders made an appointment during office hours with one of their teachers. So that is time well spent. And not only is the time valuable, but the skill development of seeking out support in a developmentally appropriate way is really invaluable as they move to college, where office hours becomes an invaluable part of your learning and your experience. So then shifting to advisory, which again I think is another major victory for us this year. We have very intentionally framed advisory this year as year zero or beta, right? And when something's in beta, you're soliciting feedback. You need the feedback to grow and to improve. So our goal has been to put the structure in place, to try different approaches, gather feedback from students and staff, and then use that feedback to guide how advisory continues to develop. Excuse me. What has worked particularly well is the hybrid approach that we took. So it's a blended model. It is not the same experience week in and week out. It is a combination of school-wide assemblies, grade level specific programming, time for counselors to push into the classrooms, and then the fourth component is individual lessons delivered by advisory teachers that are based on the ruler curriculum. That approach, as I said, has given us balance, consistency, flexibility, and we absolutely plan to use that hybrid model as we move forward with advisory. So a few highlights of advisory up to this point. We've had several strong school-wide assemblies, including sessions with Mark Brackett on dealing with feeling, and Tom Kirsting on the impact technology has on adolescent development. We have 2 more scheduled for later this year, one with Matt Bocci, who will be presenting on mental health awareness, and then a 4th one with a motivational speaker named John Paul Gonzalez. He discusses his, quote, all-in approach to life. He did a lot of work with the 2012 New York Giants and did a lot of motivation with them. At the grade level, advisory has allowed us to be really intentional. So seniors, on the very first advisory, the first day of school, seniors had to push in with their counselors. So they've had time to go through Naviance, to work through that, to get, really intentional college advisement through advisory. We also recently just hosted an alumni panel where we had 14 recent graduates come back to talk to the senior class about their experience, to share, little things like what item they brought to their dorm that was helpful, versus that work-life balance that they've struck in college. 11th graders have participated in a Hang Up and Drive driver safety program. 10th graders worked with Nick Katsouris from the Lukumi Foundation on the power of doing good deeds. And our 9th graders continued the partnership with JCK about their mental health and trusted adults and their transition to high school as well. So it's been, in my mind, a total success. Are there areas for us to grow? Absolutely. But in year zero, what we have rolled out, I think, has been phenomenal. And, credit to Bill. He's been a great partner in the work. Credit to Heather Riley and Marcy Gachalian, school psychologist, and Kathy Giuliano, health teacher, who were part of developing this program. So as we look ahead to next year, kind of that piece that we want to tweak based on the feedback is that we want to make it more sustainable and tailor it to what we're hearing that kids need. So Ruler will absolutely remain our anchor, providing shared language and consistent foundation. But at the same time, we want to shift to make advisory themed by grade. So what does that look like? So for 9th grade, advisory will focus on the transition to high school, and our plan is to build in a peer mentoring component, which hasn't existed in this building. For 10th grade, that's going to be your executive functioning year. So you'll get study skills, organization, time management, self-advocacy. For 11th grade, we want to focus on healthy relationships, a relationship with yourself, with your family, with your community, maybe with a significant other, as that independence begins to grow even further. And then 12th grade will, I think, rightly focus on life after Eastchester. So that's the plan in terms of theming advisory for next year. One plug, while we're on the topic of advisory, tomorrow, advisory will be used for our MLK Day of Service here at the high school, which again is a strong example of advisory in action. That flexibility we talked about last year with the rollout, here it is, right? We didn't have within our schedule the opportunity to get students involved in work like this. So each grade level will participate in a meaningful service experience. 9th graders are going to attend an assembly with Hope Community Services, learning about local service and hearing from our own faculty engaged in community work. 10th graders are going to create popsicle stick picture frames and write positive messages for approximately 90 residents at Sunrise Senior Living. 11th graders will make no-sew blankets for Blythedale Children's Hospital, bringing comfort to young patients. 12th graders will assemble over 500 kits, hygiene kits for City Relief, supported by donations from our generous PTA and soccer programs. So together, I think these experiences reflect Dr. King's call to service and highlight how our advisory creates space for students to work together, contribute meaningfully, and connect learning to community values.
Chris, if I could just jump in there for just a second. When you think about the development of children, especially when they're little, their world is usually them and their family, and then it starts to grow into their friends, and then sometimes their local community. But you can see that our high schoolers now, they have grown to a level of independence and also gone beyond just the local even, thinking about things that are much more abstract than just the concrete. And so all of these civic opportunities, all of these advisory pieces are talking about more than just academics. It's talking about culture, climate, how we treat one another, the other human across the way from me. So it's wonderful that our high school gets the privilege to be able to shape these young minds and these hearts.
Thank you.
Just one very quick comment and one question for you. To say progress has been made from last year to this year would be an understatement. So thank you and the entire administrative team and everyone involved in all of this progress. Listening, I think, to the board, the community, and most importantly, the students, you know, hearing things here like a peer mentoring program, we've never had that. Major strides. So for that, thank you. One of the things that we have been hearing is about, with the new schedule, how so many tests are falling on one day. So we heard Elias shared a little bit of that, and I think just in the community, we're hearing a little bit of a buzz about that. Is that something, Chris, I know you and Dr. V are exploring like options there. Is that something, just to level set and set the expectation, is that something that we think there could be a different iteration of that this year in terms of kind of parsing that out, or is that something we'd be looking at for next year?
So testing days became very popular about a decade ago in an effort, well-intentioned effort, to try to limit the load that students experience on a given day. My experience is sometimes it has the unintentional effect of actually encouraging teachers to test, not always when they need to. Because it's like, I have this day to test. If I don't give a test now, I don't have the opportunity again until a week from now. So there was a testing schedule in place here. It was much easier when it was a 6-day cycle, A day, B day, and it was just alternating. So you'd have English, math, and other on one day, and then science. Typically you try to keep science and math on opposite sides because those are typically test heavy, you know, on those alternating days. What we have now with the drop, we had to try to get a little bit creative in how to problem solve with that. So we did an early week block and a late week block. And I think it, in theory, it works, but with the drop, right, early on, we were working very closely with teachers on how to manage a drop. It does take some instructional shifts, shifts to your assessment calendar. So, you know, we've doubled down and said, look, you've really got to make sure you're following this calendar. The other piece that I'll just mention here is that with a testing schedule, it really is for assessments that require previous preparation. So if it's an in-class writing assignment, you know, that you don't have to go home and study for, that typically doesn't. So sometimes it feels like, because I just ran 7 periods, I had 3 tests, but it's a very nuanced conversation. In Scarsdale, we actually eliminated testing days altogether, and I think what actually works best is just conversation with kids to say, hey, I want to give a test on Thursday. Does that work for you guys? So we have the testing schedule in place. We've doubled back with teachers to say, we've got to be, you know, following this. And we're open to a pilot next year, maybe where in the second marking period, I think that's probably the most appropriate one, to say we can do a pilot with no testing days, survey students after the fact to say, was this more manageable, and then make a meaningful and thoughtful decision at that point.
I was just going to say, I just have to tell you, I commend you and I commend the faculty, your team. It's amazing what can be done when folks get together and you're allowed to be creative and really just tease things out together, the collaboration. I mean, I'm completely amazed. To Matt's point, I mean, you could knock me over with a feather with everything that you've been able to take, but that is taking place here. It's truly amazing. I mean, I guess my only question was clarity around the blended advisory, maybe? What is it?
The hybrid approach,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yep.
It had 4 components to
Yep.
that.
So it's school-wide assemblies,
Right,
grade level programming,
that's it.
push-in time for counselors, and then individual lessons delivered by the advisory teacher.
Got it.
And those lessons are currently based on the Ruler curriculum. Next year, we'd keep Ruler as the anchor of all of this, but develop some new lessons specific to those themes that I shared before.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry. Just a quick question about the advisory grade level themes. Are those one-time experiences, or is that a theme that would continue throughout the year and be built upon?
The whole year.
The whole year. Okay.
Right? So
Okay.
those individual lessons, the plan would be for each of those to circle back to that same theme. So
Okay.
there's continuity, we can assess progress. It allows us to do a lot of creative things in that area.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
Just want to echo what Christy and Matt said and just say thank you. So much progress in so little time, and we've been waiting for that, so just thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that the students have positive feedback about the schedule and everything, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think the next section is also of great interest to the board and to our public, and I think Ms. Riley might be here this evening.
Ms. Riley is unfortunately under the weather,
Okay.
so I am going to do that piece as well, which is a shame because, again, all the work that we've talked about, it's been done through collaborative efforts, through partnership, and every step of the way, Heather has been a true partner. There hasn't been one thing that we've said, well, what about this? And there's a lot of brainstorming going on at the high school right now. She's never like, well, no, I don't think that'll work. It's always, yeah, let's see what we can do and how we can make it happen. So forgive me if I don't have all of the information about these topics, but I'll do my best to give you some information that Heather wanted to share. So our goal, the counseling department's goal, obviously the goal of our school, is to provide students with continuous opportunities across all 4 years of high school to prepare them for life after graduation, and this is done through developmentally appropriate steps at each grade level. So our counselors focus on building strong, meaningful relationships with students so we can understand each individual and best support their post-high school goals. So this support includes ongoing one-on-one meetings with students, as well as phone calls and meetings with families, and working collaboratively throughout the college planning and application process. So in terms of structured programming at each grade level, for 9th grade, there's a parent night in September and group transition activity with students. 10th graders participate in college planning workshops with their families in the spring. 11th grade college planning workshops take place in the winter. They're happening now. And then 12th grade, an advisory meeting that I referenced before on the first day of school to review Navion's goals, timelines, and so on and so forth. In addition, we've set up activities for juniors each May to set up Common App accounts and to begin the application process together. This early exposure helps students build confidence and familiarity before leaving for the summer. And then just here we have a few things to highlight, much of which again is new or improved or tweaked over the last few years. So Career Day, students participate in a career-focused lesson with their counselors, and then they attend a Career Day program at BOCES where they learn about a number of different occupations. We have a letter of recommendation workshop that was new this fall. So we worked with a college essay expert to host 2 sessions, one with teachers and one with counselors. The focus was on writing letters of recommendations that could create poignant statements that advocate strongly for our students' candidacies. I don't need to tell you that the college admissions landscape is a challenge right now. It is evolving constantly. It is sometimes a little bit of a moving target even. So what they want to see is nuance. They want to learn about students in those essays. They don't want to read in a recommendation what they can gather from a resume. So it needs to be personalized. It needs to be unique. It needs to catch attention. And we thankfully were able to spend some time working on that. We had a lot of work around college essays. So counselors and ELA teachers co-taught a lesson in May on the college essay. That discussion was continued in late June, and students actually, juniors, submitted a draft of their college essay before leaving for the summer. That pairs well with the college essay boot camp that was held over the summer. So over 4 days in July, students participated in a college essay workshop. It included videos and articles from admissions counselors discussing the role of the college essay, analysis and discussion of what a strong personal narrative looks like, guided work on essay drafts with individualized feedback, and we're happy to say 25 students participated in that boot camp over the summer, which was free. We offered it in the evenings because we know a lot of students are working over the summer. So we're excited to be able to offer that opportunity moving forward as well. We had our annual college fair with 80 schools here. Those schools represented a wide range of institutions with diverse sizes, locations, academic majors, which ensures an opportunity for every student interested in pursuing college. Financial Aid Night was held on October 8th with Dan Robinson, the Director of Financial Aid at Pace University. The program was called What You Need to Know About Financial Aid, including FAFSA, the CSA profile, Student Aid Index, and what has changed this year for families, because again, the FAFSA process is another one of these moving targets. A representative from Compass Test Prep discussed recent updates to the ACT and SAT and methods of test prep at a presentation we held on Zoom. We held our first athletic recruitment evening. It was titled Understanding Athletic Recruiting in the 21st Century, Differences Between the Divisions, 4 Stages of Athletic Recruiting, valuable questions to ask throughout that process. It began with defining your terms when you say, I want to play sports in college. What does that actually mean? And then it moved into the process. And then lastly, which I'm excited to finally be able to pass the mic off, is College Kickstart, which has been a great platform that we've introduced. We began using it in May of last year with the class of 2026. And I'm pleased to introduce one of our counselors, Adriana Orosicchio, who's going to do one slide on College Kickstart.
I
Thank
think
you.
what you're hearing through Mr. Welch's presentation here and what you'll hear Adriana speak to is the real elevation of Eastchester here. We're trying to find that edge when we get to that college admissions time. There are a lot of kids who apply to college, and there are a lot of high-performing students. There are a lot of kids who are going into similar type programs, and we just want to make sure that we're honing in on those essays, those recommendation letters, just knowing exactly where financial packages are going into early decision, all of those things. Just elevating it so that we have that edge is an important part for us. And now, College Kickstart.
Okay, good evening. On behalf of the Eastchester High School Counseling Department, we're excited to share an overview of College Kickstart and how it will be implemented to further support students in the college planning process. Beginning in the spring of junior year, we will introduce College Kickstart as an online platform to support students during the active college application phase. College Kickstart is designed to complement, not replace Naviance. Naviance will continue to be used for career exploration and early planning beginning as early as 8th grade, while College Kickstart will provide a more targeted support as students begin making application decisions. One of the primary benefits of College Kickstart is that it simplifies college list development. The platform helps students create balanced college lists, clearly identifying reach, target, and likely schools. College Kickstart also helps support students in understanding and leveraging early admission opportunities using historical admission data and student-specific information. That platform can highlight where early action and early decision may be an advantage. This data-driven approach reduces stress and helps students and families feel more confident in their choices. More confetti, less tears. The platform offers robust data and insights that enhance our counseling work. It tracks college list quality, early admissions trends, and merit aid opportunities. A key feature is the list score, which evaluates a student's college list on a scale of A through F, and allowing counselors and students to quickly assess whether the list is balanced and appropriate. The student's GPA and standardized test scores will be a factor in determining a list grade. College Kickstart also includes several smart features designed to support both students and counselors. Mixed fixers can generate college lists based on a student's academic profile and preferences. This tool will allow students to strengthen their list grade. Early strategy feature recommends optimal application plans. Financial aid insights highlight scholarship deadlines and merit-based aid opportunities. Custom reports allow counselors to generate shareable PDFs for students and families, supporting transparent and informed conversations at home. We're especially excited about this platform because we've already received very positive feedback from our seniors who have used College Kickstart during the application process. Students have shared that this tool has helped them better understand their options, feel more organized, and approach college decisions with greater clarity and confidence.
Thank you so much. And now what I'm going to do is invite Mr. Jacoby to come on up. We're going to take a little segue into talking about how all of this work around our high school and elevating the experience through curriculum instruction comes through the lens of community. One of the highlights of our school district this year was our TEDx event, and so I will have the sizzle reel play.
Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
If I could give just a moment to acknowledge Joe Blute and Nick Soshin, who is here every Board of Education evening, but for making that and for many of our videos that they create. Thank you. Your creativity, your eye for editing and design, all of it. I mean, TEDx is a global brand here, and it has really was a wonderful experience for our school district to be able to be part of that. We are on the map. We are officially on YouTube to do all those things. We also have some celebrities sitting in the audience today. Yep, I see them right there. Our students from Eastchester High, and Sarah, Maggie, and say it out loud for me. Erica, I know your last name, but Erica, and I see Miss Jen Gavin back there too. I think Dr. Meyer prepared you perhaps to come on up and speak at the podium. Okay, wonderful. So I'll have you come join Mr. Jacoby for just a moment to share a little bit about your TEDx experience.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Giving my TEDx talk about autism awareness was an experience I am truly grateful for, and it became even more meaningful when it helped me raise $5,000 for autism research, funding, and support through 2 ongoing lemonade stands. I spent a lot of time revising and proofreading my speech at least 10 times because I wanted to make sure my message was clear and straight from the heart. The process taught me that raising awareness isn't just about speaking, but about listening, learning, and being willing to improve. Seeing my community support the lemonade stands showed me how powerful small efforts can be when people come together for something important. I am honored to have had this opportunity and proud to support a cause that means so much to me, and thank you so much once again.
Hello, I'm Sarah Mortensen. I'm a senior at Eastchester High School. I was given the opportunity to speak at our recent TEDx event, and I chose to speak about intergenerational learning. I spend a lot of time with people of all generations, whether working with kids at clubs at Greenvale or talking with my grandparents about family history. This subject is personally important to me, and I'm so grateful that I could share my love for it with my community through my TEDx talk. The talk was also a really great experience. Dr. Meyer gave incredibly helpful guidance as I prepared for this talk, giving me tips for this specific talk and for public speaking in general. I felt supported in every step of the process. The backstage environment was also incredible. We got to sit together backstage, eating yummy bagels, wishing each other good luck, and taking notes on each other's talks. It wasn't just a room of bright people, but it was a friendly, motivating, and intellectual environment. This is a I feel so honored to have been part of this unique experience. The TEDx event was a special opportunity, not just for each of us presenters, but for the school district to host an internationally recognized platform. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to be part of it. So thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Erica Lunenfeld, and my TED Talk was on the art of vulnerability in a noisy world. So about the experience of giving a TED Talk, my experience aligns a lot with what Sarah said. I was going to talk about how we took notes on people's TED Talks. The backstage environment was truly extraordinary. My TED Talk, to give a brief overview, we tend to fill our lives with podcasts, music, doom scrolling, all to expel the abyss, and perhaps embracing and leaning into vulnerability, leaning into silence is an act of resistance that will save us. And what was I gonna say? Right, Dr. Meyer really gave great guidance, like Sarah said, and my talk was actually influenced a lot by Dr. Meyer. He's been on a lot of mindful retreats and experiences like that, and he helped me carve the theme of silence and embracing it. I'm passing the mic to Miss Gavin.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I have to say, first of all, that it was a real honor to be able to represent Eastchester. My talk was about stories and the ways in which they make us human and the way they're necessary to learning. And I have to say, listening to the other TED Talks was so meaningful. Education is timeless, but the way students learn, that changes every day. And it was amazing to hear about all these innovative things that are happening. The students did a great job, which I'll talk about in a second. I guess I could go on and on about their efforts. I think the thing about this TED Talk, participating in it and listening to what people had to say, even from people from surrounding communities, is that it really provoked deep contemplation about what we value most about education. So the classroom is kind of it's a sacred place, and in English class anyway, students come together for a short period of time, they look at a story, they hold it up to the light, they share their different perspectives, and they kind of take that spiritual home with them wherever they go in life, and they can always like mentally come back to it. And really, this talk reminded me of that kind of magic of coming together and sitting and just listening deeply. Because stories they call us back to a real or imagined past where we all felt whole. Not that students realize that on a day-to-day basis because they learn about run-on sentences and thesis statements. Sorry, AP Lit, if that's too soon. But the learning doesn't happen because everything I say in class is so totally fascinating, I'm sorry to say. It's because students get that practice with deep listening and really pondering ideas in a slow, contemplative way. So, yeah, I think the TED Talk really was a way to express and articulate those values. Really, we heard from everything from wisdom of the elders to a student design app that's designed to keep you off social media by turning it into a game. About the importance of vulnerability, good deeds, as Mr. Welsh said earlier, and educational technology. And I have to say, I was just so impressed by these students, their efforts, their love of ideas. They were so deeply reflective, and they had this courage to take the stage and share their ideas. And I want to reiterate what Sarah Mortensen said, which is like backstage, it was this everybody was coaching each other and calming each other's nerves, and it was truly a community experience. And the way they cheered each other on was just incredibly inspiring. So the TED Talk really broadcast literally to the world what we care most about education. And it's important because even as I'm listening to Dr. Welsh tonight, it's really important to articulate those values and really set us on this path. Dr. View said, put us on the map, like really, sets our trajectory and makes everything we do so purposeful. So I'd like to thank Mr. Welsh and Dr. V for your support in bringing this to Eastchester. And a special thanks, as other people have said, to Dr. Meyer for his encouragement, his vision that always seems to uplift others. I mean, his efforts really do elevate Eastchester. So thank you for letting me be a part of this and for reaffirming that Eastchester is a place of ideas and innovation. That's who we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. So I think TEDx is a wonderful example of just our community expanding beyond Eastchester out into the world. Okay, and then I have to explain why I know Erica's last name as Lunenfeld. So Erica, you said silence and abyss again in the same sentence and gave a little description of your talk. So I feel like your name is like Yates and Blake and Lunenfeld, like a poet. And so that is how I always remember you. Okay. So other things that are happening in the community of Eastchester is that we are partnering with Iona and doing a lot with artificial intelligence, which Mr. Jacoby is going to segue into in just a moment. We have a cohort of K-12 teachers who are going to their workshops and learning all about AI. We're also partnering with Sarah Lawrence College and looking at child development graduate programs for people who are looking for early childhood development courses in terms of our students who are looking to become teachers in that area. And so we are branching out and seeing what our partner organizations have to offer us and essentially trying to build the capacity of our people. Okay, so I hand it over to Mr. Jacoby for technology.
Okay, thanks, Dr. V. I know what you're all thinking, the moment you've been waiting for, some technology updates for you. My kids needed something to do, so I sent them the link, so they're watching tonight too, so hi, boys. All right, so as Dr. V said, we are all in on AI. Last year, we started our AI task force. We got stakeholders from every segment of the school to come together basically monthly. Jen was part of that group. I see Joanna and Laura are here. They were part of that group as well. And the goal was to just kind of come up with a way forward in a topic that was so cutting edge that nobody really knew the way forward. There are all these AI experts out there, but the truth is nobody's really an AI expert. They're all just passionate about AI. And so we're all still coming together to figure out how to go forward. And one of the things that the committee came up with was that we needed some sort of guardrails around AI if we want our students to use it. Because what we agreed on was that we can't, number one, we can't hide it from our students, but we also don't want to because that's not really setting them up well. We want to understand at an age-appropriate level when they should and shouldn't use AI and how to use it to help their learning, not replace it. And that's just a really tough way to go. And so we started the year in a really cool way with John Spencer, who's an author. He had a really fun kickoff speech for us on day one. He also did some workshops with the different secondary and elementary groups. And we're going to continue that. And we've adopted a platform called Magic School, which sets the guardrails for students and teachers and allows teachers to really leverage the technology in a way that's appropriate, again, at the different age levels, because certainly what that looks like in first grade is very different than what it looks like in senior year. So that's a little bit about AI. And one of the guiding principles of the whole technology team, who I can just say every good thing about forever and ever, always there, ready to pick up a new project, is improving, is taking down guardrails for people with technology. There's so much you can do, but sometimes it's a struggle and it's a hurdle. If you're dealing with outdated equipment, if you're dealing with things that are slow, it's just frustrating. So we're trying to break those barriers. And one of the things that we saw probably starting about a year ago was the potential need for a new student information system, which you all know as Home Access Center or eSchool. It is an aging company, well, it's an aging platform that was bought up by another company, so we're kind of getting ahead of that, seeing the writing on the wall, and going with one of the best that we've seen. We did a little pilot, well, we did a preview for some targeted groups of people to see what they liked better. We did it over about 3 or 4 months, and we landed on with 89% of all of our participants in those meetings landing on Infinite Campus. So we took that and are handling one of the biggest projects you can do, because the student information system houses things from every department in this district, from free lunch to scheduling to grades to medical to other documentation, residency, Everything is housed there. So to take it all from eSchool and get it into Infinite Campus is truly a year-long process. But we're ready to begin training in about a week, talking about online registration, and that's going to be the first glimpse that the community sees. So it's not just an in-school K-12, this is everybody, but it's also parents and also students. And some of the things you can do, it's really pretty cutting edge. So we'll start with there. All right. So at the high school, when we were dealing with the topic of devices, and and the board was contemplating policy around cell phone usage, but also that policy was just about internet-enabled devices, which obviously includes computers. Districts were grappling, how do we do this at the high school level, because we allow students to bring their own computer. Well, they need it for school, but how do we foster that in this policy that's intended to not allow that? Well, the state at least left us a lane to be able to grapple with that, but we also thought that it's time to start thinking about how do we focus our high schoolers on a consistent device that worked for them. And again, we piloted over a short time. We had some student meetings about what do you want? And the consensus from them was we don't want Chromebooks at our level. Chromebooks are great educational tools for what they do. They're built in Google, that's what we use. But once you get to the high school level, you're starting to venture off into other softwares that just can't happen on a Chromebook. So the MacBook or an iPad became the two top contenders. So we had two targeted groups of 10 students each that we gave 10 of the MacBooks and 10 of the iPads for about a month. And then they all swapped about a month later. So they got a taste in both. And again, the final meeting of that group of 20 was 15 students present. 14 out of 15 chose MacBooks. And that's what we went with. I think it's been really successful. The kids love them, but best yet is it gives teachers, and it's only just starting because it's only our 9th graders right now, but once we begin bringing the school all into Mac land, there's a lot of tools that are going to be available, and it also allows us to focus students a little better because we know what they're using and we're managing them. So we don't want to use iMessage. You don't use iMessage. On their personal devices, that's just a constant struggle. So that's that. We did complete, this was a multi-year project through our bond. We did complete a really great conversion of our entire security system that incorporates cameras, lockdown system with electronic locks on all the doors. Again, elevating Eastchester, this is now taking our OK platform and putting it really at the cutting edge of what we can do with that. It's totally tested and operational now, and we're just trying to come up with some bells and whistles on how to improve it in little ways. Again, cutting barriers and giving students easier access to technology and also staff. Right over there, behind those windows, is our new technology center where students and staff can go at the high school and middle school for immediate support. We basically have 3 technicians as part of the technology team to support about 2,000 people on this campus. And so it was a battle of kind of running around and trying to get people the support they need. So we thought, well, why not have them be able to visit the support? So it's open all day long with at least one technician there. Students can walk in, they could hand in their Chromebook for repair, get a loaner device, so they're really missing so much less instructional time. I know that sounds very operational, but the result is really taking down a barrier for students. I think it's really maximizing the time that the technology is in their hands at middle and high school. So part of our more curricular focus that Dr. Meyer and I are working on is just increasing how we leverage STEM in general. But we have a really cool room right above us that we've now basically gutted thanks to the facilities team, and there's going to be built-ins for a set of 12 3D printers in there, and that's only the beginning. That's where our robotics is going to be housed. So we're calling it our makerspace. Maybe we'll come up with a nicer, nifty name, but right now it's our makerspace. The goals involve bringing in laser cutting and etching, bringing in CNC routing, which is basically creating designs in wood. So it's like a modern wood shop, if you will. Not just wood, though. It could be a lot of different materials. The idea is to give students the ability to leverage software to make things. And where that goes, there's pretty cool places that we can go with that. So finally, just as a recap of what we did all of last year, was every classroom has updated technology. That screen you're looking at there exists in every single one of our classrooms with a mobile mount. You've seen this, the public has seen this presentation, and so has the board. But it's 100% operational, and I could say it's really rewarding to walk by and see things happening that we just couldn't do before. And so that's just some of our technology updates for you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jacoby. And so to the board, we tried to highlight as much as we possibly could in one evening. You'll have more presentations coming up over the next few meetings, but to be able to just show the good work of all of these teams, you can see that it's not just one single person per department, all hands on deck, whether it's implementation or putting things up or actually showcasing. A lot of effort, preparation goes into it, and a lot of teamwork and collaboration and talking. A lot of talking to troubleshoot through and try prototypes. So thank you to everybody who presented tonight.
Thank you, Dr. B. And just, Rob, before you sit down really quick, I go back to, as you're talking and going through the slides, when we talk about progress, I still have the image burnt in my head of the technology closet that you inherited with 1,000 wires and like CDs flying out of it. So thank you and your team for all of your efforts.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the support.
Thanks. Any questions, comments from any of the trustees? Okay. Future meeting dates, we will have a regular board meeting on February 10th, and then we will have a work session on February 24th. Since this is a work session, there is no public comment this evening, so do I have a motion to adjourn? Sean, second? Jill, all in favor? Thank you, everyone, and have a great evening.